I called a meeting, the Catawba County Board of Education public hearing budget and regular meeting for March 23rd, 2026. All please rise. We'll start the March office with an invocation by Pastor Kitty Mills, followed by a presentation of colors. After that, pledge of allegiance. So, Pastor Mills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Kenny Mills. I serve as the lead pastor at Home Church. We actually gather at Maiden High School on Sunday mornings. It's my honor to be here. I'd love to lead us in an invocation this evening. Father God, I come to you right now in the name of Jesus, the only name under heaven and earth by which men might be saved. And Father, I say thank you for this evening. Thank you for this collection of our community that you brought together tonight. God, I say thank you for every leader who is here, who has given up parts of their life to serve the community. And so, Father, I pray for them. I pray for wisdom. Your word says that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And so, Father, I pray you would provide that to them. But God, your word also says in James that wisdom from heaven comes from heaven, and it is, first of all, pure, it's peace-loving, it's considerate, it's submissive, it's full of mercy and good fruit, it's impartial and sincere. And so, Father, I pray that you would give them the wisdom of heaven as they lead our community, they lead the school district, as they make decisions not only for today, but for the future. And so in the name of Jesus, I pray this. Amen.
Present arms.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Channing Moose. I've been at Bandy's High School Junior RTC for about 2 months and 2 weeks, and it's been a privilege and honor to be there and serve under Dr. Maynor. It's a great job, and I'm very happy to be there. I'm very happy to be here tonight. We have a premier leadership development program at Bandy's High School, and the foundation of that program is confidence. We provide opportunities for these cadets to build and to test their confidence. Just a few examples are starting with last Thursday at the Charlotte Hornets, where we got to see Del Curry's number 30 jersey retired and performed color guard for the national anthem there. Lenoir University a month ago, and then next Thursday, the 2nd of April, we'll be presenting colors at the Hickory Crawdads on their opening season night. Also, our drill team competes against the best teams in the nation. We're nationally ranked. I'd like to say just something about each of these 4 cadets. On my left, or our audience's right, we have First Cadet Lieutenant Lopez. He's on our competition drill team. His goals after high school are to attend App State and to major in nursing. Cadet Lieutenant Falcon, holding the American colors, is also on our competition drill team. He plans on attending college ROTC and wants to commission as an Army officer. Cadet Lieutenant Herrick, who's carrying our North Carolina colors. He's also on our competition drill team and also performs as a key member of the Bandy's Choir, which is ranked 1st in the state. His goals are also to attend ROTC and commission as an officer. And lastly, Cadet Staff Sergeant Martin is our junior ranking officer tonight. He's a class leader in GRTC. He's in the marching band. He plays clarinet, and he's a leader in the Boy Scouts. His goals are to complete his Eagle Scout before graduating high school, hike the Appalachian Trail, become an officer in the military, and then after a successful career in the military, Cadet Jackson will become a wildlife officer. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this opportunity.
Forward. March. Maybe seated. On the agenda is approval of minutes from February 6th. Had a chance to look at those. Are any discussion? Not, I seek a motion for approval of the minutes.
Make a motion.
Hearing a motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise a hand. That is unanimous. Next is adjustment, approval of agenda. There are 2 items. First one is listed as an adjustment, new business number 6, approval of architectural design firm negotiations with LSP3 Associates, additions and renovation projects. Number 2 is new business number 9, adoption of resolution, Catawba County Board of Education initiating the process to dispose of surplus. If there are no further discussions, I seek, or adjustments need to be made, I seek an approval, motion for approval of those 2 additions to the agenda.
So move.
Hearing a motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise a hand. That is unanimous. Thank you. Next up is the superintendent's report, chairman's report. County has a merger plan in place. We do have copies outside the room. If you would like to take one, I ask that you do so. And if you have any questions, contact me. Discuss that. Next up is the superintendent's report presented by Dr. Matt Stover.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. I'm very excited this evening. Several students to acknowledge tonight and staff. So we'll start with our state champion athletes first. So I'm going to ask Mr. Westmoreland to come forward, and if the board would meet us out front, and we're going to shake hands with some excellent athletes. Milburn, custodian, bus driver, and coach. I think he works all the time. Mr. Milburn, come on up. Of course, we have several folks like Mr. Milburn. We're so thankful for people who are so passionate about Catawba County Schools. Luckily, our tennis coach gave him last part of practice off so he could get here. Mr. Milburn, we appreciate all you do. The other thing I want to say to this while I'm here, we got 28 clean schools, and I'm very thankful for that, and our custodial staff. That's hard work. Great job. Let's give them a big round of applause. The hits keep rolling. We are pumped up about this. Marty Sharp was named our North Carolina Department of Public Instruction Technology Director of the Year. This is the second time he's been nominated since I've been here. And Mr. Sharp will be the first to tell you that it's not only him. I see some of his team members here, just absolutely amazing what they do, and we're thankful for Mr. Sharp. And not only that, he also won the the International Society for Technology and Education Making It Happen Award, which is given to one person from each state of North Carolina. And this is the first time it's ever been given to anyone that works in a school system. So we are especially pumped about that. I see Ms. Sharp here too tonight. Thank you for letting us have him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Marty Sharp, we couldn't do this without you. You make this place run. Congratulations. Last but not least, every year the state gives out communication awards, and last year we won 3 thanks to Mrs. Kim Jordan. This year we've won 6, and we are extremely thankful for Ms. Jordan's work. We won a gold for excellence in writing, showcasing the community connection. We won a gold for strategic communications, refining diamonds, which you did awesome with that. Also a silver for our CTE and career readiness, which I know she's going to speak just a minute about with Kristen Lewis, who's here tonight. Thank you. Won a silver for our special events in middle school football jamboree. And if you're not doing anything in August, come out to the jamboree. All those proceeds go to our education foundation. We won a silver class of 2025 congratulatory ad. Excellent job. And last but not least, a bronze in our 2025-2026 CCS recruitment flyer. And if you know any incredible folks that want to work, please have them contact us ASAP. We'd love to have them. Kim Jordan, you have done an amazing job. And I tell this story a lot. Miss Jordan was an art teacher and a principal, and she applied to be the marketing director, and I had no idea. And I am so thankful. Great job, Miss Kim Jordan.
I just wanted to take a minute because every award that I win is not just what I do, but it's a team effort. And this year, when I was submitting work for consideration, we had a fantastic CTE graphic design campaign, mainly done by Kristen Lewis. She did all the heavy lifting and the design work, and I just put it out there in public. And so I'm going to award one of the NC Spro Awards to Kristen Lewis in the CTE department.
All right, I think that wraps it up. Thank you to our members of the Board of Education. I just want to say how proud I am of our students and staff. Man, what a great place to work and learn. I'm looking at a lot of great staff members and a lot of great community members, and these students are absolutely amazing. Thanks to everybody in this room. So we appreciate the Board of Education, and let's get to business.
All right, next on the agenda is public hearing regarding the 2026, 2027 budget presented by Dr. Matt Stover. Public hearing on the 2026-27 budget allows Catawba County Board of Education to receive feedback on the 26-27 budget before final approval and adoption. Speaker will be allowed a minimum of 3 minutes to address board members. The time clock will be presented. The each speaker with their 3-minute time limit, but it looks like no one signed up on the
No one signed up, Chairman Settlemeyer.
on the budget form, no.
On the budget. Mr. Privet, do you have anything you'd like to add this evening? Okay. Then I don't have anything to add either, Chairman.
Okay. To move on to public comment, and that'll be handled by Miss April Underwood.
The Catawba County Board of Education appreciates and welcomes all public comments. Members of the public who have signed up to speak may address board members on any topic of concern during the public comment section of a regular meeting. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to address board members. A time clock will be displayed to assist each speaker with their 3-minute time limit. Speakers should direct their comments to board members rather than to the audience. Comments by members of the public should be respectful without slander toward any member of the public, community member, or any member of the Catawba County Board of Education. Any displays of approval or disapproval are out of order unless otherwise directed by the board chair. Our first speaker will be Kyla Little.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kyla Little. I'm a costume designer, a proud Hickory native, and I'm here tonight as an advocate for arts and cultural support on behalf of Arts Culture Catawba, the local arts agency for Catawba County. I'd like to briefly share a personal story about how the arts actively contribute to the growth of our students and the direction of their futures. As a first-generation college student, I would not have known what path to take if it weren't for theater. The Tractor Shed Theater at St. Stephen's High School, led by Molly Rice, gave me more than just a place to perform. It gave me a place to grow. In that classroom, I learned the soft skills that form the foundation of any career: communication, adaptability, collaboration, and problem solving. That theater program strengthened my confidence in public speaking and helped me learn how to express my thoughts and ideas with clarity and with purpose. Research shows that low-income students who participate in the arts throughout all 4 years of high school are 5 times less likely to drop out and twice as likely to earn a college degree. I would know this because I was one of those students. Without the Tractor Shed Theater, I would not have gone on to earn my master's degree in costume design and technology, live abroad in England, travel to 27 different countries, and build a successful freelance career in the arts. Next week, I'm interviewing for professor positions so that I can give back to the very art form that helped shape my passions, my confidence, and my future. Beyond the numbers, the arts strengthen connections between neighbors and help us tell the story of who we are as a community. They give young people a place to discover their voices and remind us all of the creativity and humanity that bring us together. I want to sincerely thank you for the continued support of arts and culture and for recognizing the value that they bring Catawba County. Your leadership helps ensure that our community remains vibrant, creative, and connected. If you have any questions about the impact of arts in our community, I encourage you to reach out to Arts Culture Catawba. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Little, and good luck next week with you said you had an interview next week? Yep. Good luck for that.
Speaker is Kimberly Turk.
Thank you. 60% of 60% is 36%. Students who earn between a 45 and a 59 can do credit recovery in a program called Edmentum. The state says that we must now award students who complete credit recovery a 60 in the course instead of the pass that we used to give them. We consider completion of Edmentum getting a 60% on the final assessment of 60% of the units in Edmentum. 60% of 60% of the course material is 36% of the course to earn a 60 on your transcript. While asking these students to do less, we are also asking faculty to do more. I support students doing more writing and less typing, but asking teachers to use technology less is asking us to lose useful tools and do more work. When I give a test or a quiz online, not only am I not having to waste time grading multiple choice and matching questions by hand, but I can very quickly and better analyze which questions they missed, what wrong answers were picked most often, and I can give faster feedback. In many cases, I can give that feedback in the same class where they took that test or quiz. Edpuzzle has recently been pointed out as a tool that is being used too much. This is the only tool we have to deliver videos to students that make them answer questions about the videos while they are watching the videos. We use Edpuzzle on virtual days and in our online classes. It is great for days when we have a sub, and it is also great for students who have been absent and need to stay on task. Use of technology is part of our annual assessment. It is a tool students need to be comfortable using. They will need these skills in college, their careers, and just to navigate the world. Some systems are talking about not having one-to-one with technology or with computers any longer. Our poor students would be the ones who are going to be left behind if they do not have a school-based computer. I'd also like to point out, it's really easy to add layers if your classroom is cold. It is very difficult to cool down if your classroom is warm. Our classrooms have been hot and humid for the last 2 weeks. The only critter comfortable in my room is Einstein, the bearded dragon. The poor pregnant lady across the hall has been nauseous and unable to stand up some afternoons for the last couple of weeks. It's past time for us to switch to air conditioning. We've been waiting for some special date. We need it now.
Thank you, Ms. Turk.
Speaker is Lawrence Wiedemann.
I plead the first. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. The Bill of Rights, the very first item was to establish the principle of separation between church and state. The First Amendment was written specifically to protect minority religious views from impositions of the majority. Perhaps you've forgotten. Perhaps you never learned. Perhaps you simply don't care. Many years ago, I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I remember that oath, and I stand here before you to honor that oath and to peacefully petition my government for a redress of grievances. I expect many in this room have taken a similar oath. If there are any military or veterans here, I know you have sworn an oath to protect the Constitution, but perhaps you don't remember, or perhaps you simply don't care. By writing and approving policy 2.315, the board has established as part of this government function a religious invocation. This is a black and white violation of the Constitution. The board seems to think it makes it okay to preach their ideology by allowing other religions to participate, but nod, nod, wink, wink, with the caveat that they have to be established within the community. How clearly ironic, using community establishment as a justification to subvert the Constitution's prohibition against religious establishment. It would be wrong for a Muslim imam to come in here to use government resources to tell you you are condemned for worshiping Christ. That would be wrong. It is equally wrong for Mr. Mills tonight to tell a non-Christian they cannot be saved because they are not Christian. That also is wrong. Two wrongs do not make a right. Allowing other religions to present invocations does not make it right for you to impose your Christian invocations upon others. I was taught, see that no one repays any evil for evil, but always seek to do good to one another and everyone. Last month, I asked the board, what legal, moral, or ethical tenet gives the board a right to establish a religious invocation as part of the board meetings? I've also posed this question to the board via private email. Well, Mr. Settlemeyer has been gracious enough to respond. He did not answer the question. Y'all can turn a blind eye to the Constitution, a deaf ear to my arguments against the invocation, and silence when challenged. Can we not aspire to a higher standard than the wisdom of the three proverbial monkeys? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wiedemann.
Here is Charlie Shepard.
Good evening. I've come to understand that education apps are being used well, they're surveilling our children, public schools. Pretty sure that's a fact. I got a list of some apps here. I was wondering if somebody maybe knows about these apps. Gaggle, Bark, Securely, Mind Up, Inner Explorer, Mind Flip, and Clear. These apps are, I'm pretty sure we may be using some of these. I don't know. I just found out about this. And we're turning our kids into data mines, you know. We're using AI as mental health apps to harvest information. You know, when you got people collecting data on our children and our parents, well, they're selling at that. And there are third parties that are gaining access to data like this, pretty sure. But I'm concerned. I think that we shouldn't be collecting data like that and just turning it over. I don't think it's being protected. I was wondering if maybe we have an opt-out on these apps, these education apps. So I don't know. Just heard about it. Thought I'd bring it up and Maybe somebody can look into it, somebody on the board. Lee may know something about these apps. So. that's
Can
all
you
I got.
email us a list of those apps?
I can produce these.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'd
I know
appreciate that.
Charlotte is using some.
Okay, yeah, if you want to email them to us, we'll take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that concludes the public comment section of the agenda. Next up is the consent agenda. There are 7 items on there that we've all been able to preview. Are there any questions, any concerns, any comments about any of those? If not, I seek a motion for approval on the consent agenda items.
Motion to approve.
Hearing a motion, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise a hand. That is unanimous. Thank you. Next is unfinished business, and that is approval of the 2026, 2027 local current expense budget. That'll be Mr. Seth Privet.
Yes, very simply, Chairman Settlemeyer, members of the board, Attorney Sink, and Dr. Stover, we would like to formally ask the board for their approval of the 26-27 local current expense budget. You see that here before you. We've spoken about it a little bit previously. Overall, it's a request of about 11.5% increase, and we are set to meet with the county Friday morning of this week, and hopefully get their approval as well. I would seek an approval of this, but I would be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Privet? Not, I seek a motion to approve and adopt the 2026, 2027 local current expense budget for Catawba County Schools as presented.
A motion.
Hearing a motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise a hand. That is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Privet. Next up is the presentation of on an aviation program, and it says Dr. Eisenhower in here, but it looks like Adam Wyndham is going to present, and this is his first time presenting to the board, right?
That is correct.
Let's give him a round of applause for his first time. Way to go, Adam. Thank you. I look forward to many more of these by you.
Chairman of the board and members of the board, I thank you for your time tonight. I'm excited to bring back this information, and Dr. Eisenhower has asked me to speak, so I'll do my best to fail forward with you guys here tonight. So recently we traveled down to Dare County to do a deep dive into their aviation program, see what it would take to bring that program back to Catawba County Schools. This would create a new pathway for our students, the aviation pathway, where they would take Aviation 1 and Aviation 2. Basic course overview of both of these courses is that students will develop skills in the basic sciences related to careers in aviation and aerospace. There's a classroom and lab setting tied to both of these courses. They'll be studying aviation structures, systems, power plants, and it could lead to aviation maintenance technician certificate. Basically, that means our high school kids could be building a plane. So these are local course options. We do have to get DPI approval for both of these, and Dr. Eisenhower has gained those approval from our DPI reps. For the proof of learning, as you know, CT courses have 3 options: the standard 100-question multiple-choice state assessment, the industry-aligned credential, and then the performance-based measurement. This would obviously be a performance-based measurement where our students can showcase the skills that they've learned throughout the class. And this would also align directly with our comprehensive local needs assessment that we're currently working on. We have seen an emerging trend with aviation and aerospace in North Carolina, and we have found a way that we could possibly align this with CVCC as well. Tango Flight is a 501c3 nonprofit out of Texas. They work with school systems all over the nation. Obviously, a lot are in Texas, but East Coast to West Coast, and they provide the curriculum and the build kit for CTE programs. They combine the theory, which is your classroom work, with the hands-on STEM-focused lesson plans, which are the actual building of the airplane. And this is going to help students, obviously, for a career in aviation, but it can also be helpful for any students in any type of engineering field as well. Some of the skills that our students will be taught would include technical, mechanical, aviation maintenance, aviation inspection, avionics equipment, aircraft structure, and assembly. The aircraft students will be building is called a Sling 2. It's a 2-seat aluminum 700-pound plane. They refer to this as a low-wing light sport aircraft. It has a cruising speed of 120 miles an hour. And once the permanent bolts are installed on the airplane for the wings, they're no longer removable. And we'll talk a little bit about that here in a few minutes. Obviously, with any new program, there's going to be significant expenses. The first one we talk about here is our annual expense. So we would have to renew this every year. It comes to a total of $16,873. There's also a one-time expense, and it's made up of a $10,000 instructor training fee and an $8,500 aviation-specific tool package. Both of these fees can be paid for with our CTE Federal Funds 017. Here's just a detailed list of the aviation-specific tools that Tango Flight would provide for us as a part of the one-time fee. We would also have to buy additional equipment. Luckily for these two equipment lists, this totals out about $9,000, but we can use our local vendors for these. Some of these include shelving, wooden tables. We can probably get our construction and carpentry labs to help produce these as well to kind of save on some cost. But these funds would also come from our federal funds 017 as well. And then lastly is what they refer to as the refundable program fee, $114,962. This money is held in an escrow account by Tango Flight. Once the build is complete, we would have the option to either be refunded our money or to continue on with a new build. Unfortunately, our CTE fiscal policy guide will not allow CTE funds to be used for this. So this would have to be local funds for this refundable fee. Here's just a general overview of how the program works. This is a turnkey build. Luckily for us, they send the parts in full installments because it totals over 29,000 parts. So Tango Flight does a great job of sending these to us whenever we need them. Tango Flight also reserves ownership of the aircraft at all times. So we never have to worry about purchasing liability insurance. Catawba County Schools would be added on their current liability as well. Once the plane is complete, it will be transferred to Hickory Regional Airport, where we'll undergo an FAA inspection. After it is completed inspection, Dan, who's the founder of Tango Flight, will take the first flight in the airplane. From there, he will make sure that any students that had a hand in building the aircraft have a chance to go up with him in the aircraft so they can experience it as well. Afterwards, Tango Flight is in charge of selling the airplane. So Catawba County Schools would never be involved or never get into the business of selling airplanes. And from that point is when we make the decision, do we dissolve the program and receive the refundable feedback, or it would be my hope that we would renew the program with a new build. We do have variables to consider here. Number one, and the most important, is the facility. We're looking somewhere that's centrally located. It needs to include a build area, a classroom area, as well as a storage area. So this aircraft will measure 20 feet long by nearly 27, with a wingspan of 27 feet. So obviously a large build area is something that we have to look into. We're hoping for about 3,000 square feet. The second most important factor is our faculty, the instructor who will be teaching this course. This will be a double block course. At First Flight High School, they use an adjunct instructor. So it's a retired admiral who works part-time. We're exploring the option of employing a full-time instructor to teach this course. There's no aerospace expertise required. There's no military background required, but we do need someone who can manage people and a number of individuals. Our students will be looking at juniors and seniors, and we're looking for students that have the work ethic, focus, discipline, and drive to do well in this course. And lastly, sustainability. It's important that we find the right instructor right away. That's going to help decrease costs if we have to retrain an instructor, mentors make up a big part of this course. So between Hickory Aviation Museum, the Hickory Airport, Appalachian Aero Group, the Statesville Airport, we feel that we can find a number of mentors that will be able to come in and help with the build. That's where the aviation building and maintenance knowledge will come into play here. Consistency is also huge. Having the right instructor that's in place for a long term, finding mentors that can come on a regular basis is important as well. And also the quality of students as well as the number of students. 18 seems to be the sweet spot for this course. A strong strategic recruitment strategy is also important. At First Flight, they have their Aviation 1 students help recruit students, so they're invested into that process. And then lastly, we want to make sure that all high schools have equal access. So that goes back to the centrally located. We want all 5 of our traditional high schools to be represented, as well as hopefully Challenger as well. Now, there is a curriculum-only option to this. We believe this could be a temporary solution to help us, as Dr. Stover would say, get off the ground. This could be a 1-semester delay or a 1-year delay. If it is a 1-year delay, the curriculum fee for the year does drop to about $8,900. The curriculum would include hands-on materials, and you can see a list of what all will come with that package also. And then lastly, labor market data. So obviously for us to bring this program here, there needs to be a need for aviation and aerospace in Catawba County. Recently, Catawba County government paid Site Selection Group to conduct an industry analysis on Catawba County. They found that aerospace industry is growing in North Carolina, and they also found that Catawba County is competitive for that industry. We have the infrastructure to bring in this sector. It provides high impact, high wage growth, as well as high wages. And we also believe that this program could help potentially attract some of these industries to Catawba County as well by creating the pipeline. So board, I come here tonight asking you to consider the allocation of the refundable fee and for permission to begin looking for appropriate sites for the potential aviation program.
So once we build this, if we build it, let's say here in our warehouse, you said they'll take care of transporting it from here to the
Tango
airport?
Flight takes care of the transportation to Hickory Regional Airport. Also, in a part of our fees, that the FAA certification is included in that as well. So all of that will already be taken care of, and Tango Flight will handle the logistics to get it there.
So the $114,000 that we would need to get started, have you guys looked at any potential grants, or what is your plan for that?
We have
Reaching out?
not explored any other options at this time.
Great question. We'll have to look in our budget to see if we can make room for that for next year. The plan was to start the year after. However, if the board does want to try to get this program started, we can look at our current budget and see, as Mr. Privet always says, you can have it, but you got to take something away. And we can see where that might be. And I want to thank the board again for your all's vision on this opportunity. I think it's a game changer for 18 students and hopefully hundreds before it's over. So I think the $100,000 upfront cost is well worth it, and well worth us taking a strong look at where we could get it from.
For everything that you have done, both of you. I know when we went down to Dare County, we were all just amazed, and we said before we ever left there. Actually, when Clayton and I come out of the meeting, at the School Board Association meeting back in November, we said, we have to bring this to Catawba County. And we left that meeting with Dr. Stover pumped up and so excited because it's such an amazing opportunity for our kids. And so I have spoken with several folks in the community with military backgrounds and engineering backgrounds who are excited about the possibility of this coming here. So I believe we'll have mentors who are going to be ready to help with this program because they're excited about the opportunity for our kids. So thank you guys for all that you're doing.
I do have a question. If we do allocate these funds, would it still be a possibility
of reaching out to the community, businesses and so forth to reimburse?
I think there's some partnership opportunities definitely moving forward, especially if we're able to recruit more aerospace industry to this area. We know of one manufacturer in the area. I think we're going to have to show them what we're doing in order to partner. But I think once we show them some product and what we're doing with students, we can at least explore partnerships.
I had a question. I was wondering if you had an idea of where you were going to look for to get an instructor. I know that you said that you had an idea for the mentors and that sort of thing, but what about an instructor?
We would first look on staff to see, we have a couple of ideas of people that we could approach to see if they'd be interested in teaching this course. And obviously it's somebody, when you're building a new program, it's somebody that can get the students excited, which I think would be fairly easy when you tell me you're building an airplane. But we have a great CT staff. We have a number of fantastic leaders, and this course is also about building future leaders. And so we're looking for someone that can not only build a plane, but can build leadership in all our students. I think we have a number of teachers that can do that.
I remember that whenever we did visit down in Dare County, they had so many kids that were so happy and excited to do this project of the aviation. I could not believe the enthusiasm that they had. And then on top of that, they said that whenever we were down there, they actually said that they had so much help. Everybody was wanting to work, even come at different times to even come and actually build the plane. They were so dedicated and involved and so excited. And so their enthusiasm, I could not believe how much that the kids really enjoyed it. The instructors, everybody that was even involved loved it. So I'm excited about this too. I'm sure everyone else is as well, but this is a great opportunity, and I'm so glad that our school system is going to have this opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay, so hearing all that, are there any further comments or questions? Hearing none, I seek a motion to kind of kickstart this with what Adam asked for, which was to be able to look for a spot and start talking to people who would be interested in possibly teaching the program.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to approve the aviation program as presented to the board.
All right, hearing a motion, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, shall raise of hand. That is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Eisenhower, yes, sir.
Done the heavy lifting on this, so I commend him for his leadership in this process, and I do would like the board for 30 great years.
Adam, put that in your pocket, what he said. He doesn't say that very often, so considered it an honor. Next up is on the agenda is overview of High County STEM initiative presented by Dr. Ryan McCrary.
Good evening, members of the board. Dr. Stover, I'm very excited this evening to be able to share just an overview of the High Country STEM initiative. And STEM, the acronym in High Country STEM actually stands for Strategies That Engage Minds. It is a regional partnership. Catawba County Schools is a part of this, as well as 6 other school systems in our area. And we're really excited about this opportunity because it's going to allow us to share ideas with one another, share strategies, with the ultimate goal of benefiting our students and our staff community. We have had 2 meetings so far regionally. The 7 school systems have come together. One was on January 23rd and another one on March the 6th. And what's been great about this is our team that has attended these meetings has included teachers, it's included instructional coaches, administrators at all 3 levels, as well as district leaders. And we've really been able just to brainstorm ideas around what we think will benefit our school system going forward. So out of those 2 meetings, these are the 3 areas that we have chosen to focus on going forward. One of them is rigorous real-world learning. So when you think about that, it's project-based learning. It could also be interdisciplinary projects. So for example, a math teacher might collaborate with a carpentry teacher to plan a unit of instruction. and it's also real-world simulations. So we're excited about that. The second area is employability skills. So if you think about things like teamwork, adaptability, resilience, characteristics that we want to instill in our students that will allow them to be successful in the future. And we believe there might also be an opportunity here for like credentialing or some sort of badging, so that when our students graduate from high school, they can put something on their resume or demonstrate to an employer that they possess these characteristics and have mastered them. And then the third area is artificial intelligence literacy. Mr. Sharp has done a great job of already getting us off the ground in this area with CCS Empower. We also believe that there's an opportunity here just to continue to enhance both our students' responsible use of AI, and also it can really benefit our teachers in the classroom, both from an efficiency standpoint with lesson planning, and also just helping to design questions and activities that we can do with our students. So these are the three main focus areas that we have. Our next step is to have another planning meeting where we're going to begin to develop a 2-year implementation plan for our school system. And we will continue to have regional meetings and be able to share ideas and get feedback from everyone that's involved. One of the things that I think is important about this is not something new for our teachers. We're just going to continue to build upon the work that we've already been doing in our school system around student collaboration and rigor and AI. So again, this won't be anything new for our teachers. It's just about building upon and enhancing what we're already doing in our school system. Mr. Sharp's been an integral part of it. Mr. Miller has as well. Dr. Stover was at our last meeting. And we're really excited about this partnership. The funding source behind it is the Borough's Welcome Fund, if you may have heard of that. There's also the North Carolina Science, Technology, and Mathematics Center is a funding source for this. So it's not going to cost our school system any additional funding. We've got a big support from those two entities in this. This is the logo for the High Country STEM. And as we go forward, you may start to hear more about that in our region. So, Dr. Stover, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, Dr. McCreary, great job. You know, anytime we have the opportunity to partner with our surrounding counties doing great things, and we're not paying for it, Dr. McCreary, you've done a great job leading it. And again, our team has chosen things that we're already working on, and so we want to continue that pathway. So great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Stover. Thank you, members of the board.
Sir, thank you. Next up is presentation on character education program teacher survey data presented by Mr. Lee Miller.
Thank you, Chairman Settlemeyer. Good evening, board. I do want to add to what Dr. McCreary was saying. We were approached by High Country STEM after they'd have really already started. And from what we understand from Dr. Daggett is some of the other districts had asked us to come on board because they knew some of the great things that we were doing in Catawba County. And I'll credit Marty Sharp with a lot of that. I think word was out that Marty was building some pretty significant things, and they wanted to bring us in so they could tap into that, I think. So proud of Marty and all he's done, and we're proud to be a part of the High Country STEM Initiative. And again, it's great to know that people want us to be part of maybe something bigger, and to have a reputation as a district that's being innovative and moving forward. So with that being said, I do want to share with you some survey results. These results actually come from the fall survey that we did. As you probably recall, we presented to the board back in the fall about some options for character education programs. So the data that we received from our elementary school teachers, when asked the question, how often have you delivered second step lessons? Almost 64% reported consistently or often, and another 24% reported sometimes, and about 13% reported rarely or not at all. The next question, how would you rate student engagement during second step lessons? High or moderate engagement, reported 71% of the time. 13% said very high, And then 15% of the teachers who responded said low to very low. The next question, how helpful do you feel the Second Step program has been in supporting students' character education? 76% of teachers reported being very helpful to somewhat helpful, while 21% indicated they're not very helpful or not helpful at all. And then when asked, would you recommend continuing the Second Step program in future years? 74% said yes, 25% said no. So that gives you an idea of where we're at with Second Step. We've had it in our district since, I believe, I'm gonna look back at this about 2021. So I've been online for 5 years and kids before that. One of the strong points of Second Step is it helps our younger students, teaches them how to self-regulate when they can feel themselves maybe getting angry or upset, teaches them some skills that they can use to try to calm themselves down whenever they start to maybe get out of sorts. Programs do come with a cost. We talked about this back in the fall. Second Step is a new quote we received from them would be right at $46,000 per year for K-6. Character Strong, which is another program that's being used by some districts, is right at $40,000 per year for K-5. And if you did that in middle school, 6-8, it would be another $7,200. We talked about OAS and the program that has kind of gained some notoriety across really the Southeast and the nation. It is expensive. The training for that is expensive, $110,000. And the training, while it's expensive, is also extensive for our staff. Teams would be sent to training for this program, come back, and then train members of their school. And then Rachel's Challenge is something that Catawba County Schools was involved in probably 10 or 12 years ago. It's $5 per student, but they do talk about there's a lot of grants available for Rachel's Challenge. There is some training involved, but it's more train as you go versus the OAS program, which is all the training happens up front for your lead team, and then they come back and train the folks at their school. So just give you an update on some of the costs involved. This is a table that I shared with the board back in the fall, which has just some brief information. There was a presentation that was done in the fall. I can share that again with board members if you would like. That's more specific, but this is just a table that we created with some overall general information about each of the programs. I'll mention Kiva is a program that we talked about. I personally would not recommend it. It's a program that's based in Europe, and when we spoke to them in the fall, there were no schools in the United States currently using it. They were impressive. They agreed to meet. We had a virtual meeting, but again, a program based out of Europe. Nothing wrong with that. I just don't know that we will be the first ones to implement that in the United States. So I think Character Strong, which I mentioned earlier, Second Step, OAS, and Rachel's Challenge are ones that are used throughout the country, different school districts. And really, we're just seeking guidance from the board tonight as to what direction you would like to maybe investigate further.
The Kiva is the one where we had to send our staff to like Sweden or somewhere, is that?
Yes, or they would do virtual training, which
That was it, okay.
Question. For the teachers who did not think this needed to continue, was there any feedback on what they would use that time for, and also how much time is being spent in the classroom on this program currently?
Well, second step, when done to fidelity, it would be about 20 to 25 minutes per week, the lessons. There are videos that go with second step, and then there are questions that you can use for your class or small abbreviated activities that you can do with your class for second step. And I think the first part of your question was what would they do with the time? One of the comments that we heard and saw in the survey, why teachers don't use it, is because they don't feel like they have the time because they're trying to cover core curriculum and they don't want to take the time basically to implement a character ed type program.
One of the things that maybe we could consider as we're working with High Country STEM and we're learning how to embed other items into the curriculum we're already teaching, one of the items we might could consider is how we embed our character education 4-6. I think K-3 is something that we need to continue to be intentional with, especially with what Mr. Miller was describing as our students self-regulating. I think those are specific skills that would still need to be taught. But I think there's opportunities out there, 4, 6, 7, 9, 7, 8, and then high school we kind of embed that in just high school life in general. But that being said, I think we could narrow our focus to K-3 possibly, and find ways of embedding that in our curriculum moving forward. So just another idea that just to marry the two, I think would help our students and teachers. But again, there's some options we have.
I see up here you don't have the character strong in this section.
Right, this was a table that we had created back in the fall, and that's why character strong. So character strong is kind of new on the scene for us. Like I said, it's been used in many other districts, but we reached out to them a few weeks ago just to get a quote on what it would be. Their initial quote came in fairly high, like they normally do. We reached back out and said that's not within our budget. And it's kind of like buying a car, honestly. You do a little haggling, and then typically they'll come down. And so the quote that we came up with, or they came up with, was again for K-5 was right there at 40,000.
Differences between character strong and second. Probably just got a quote, background that comes with it.
A little bit. We could go into the program a little further. They both have bullying prevention components to it. They both have components of just general character ed, what qualities make up a good person. What I don't know about character strong is, excuse me, how much self-regulation that it has within it. I'll be glad to share that with the board. They will send us a demo and with login information, and I can share with the board, and you can go in and look at it.
It looks like Rachel's challenge would cost us around $80,000. Grants available? Are there grants for these other things, or just like?
No, Rachel's challenge was, so like I said, we have experience with that, and it came out of Columbine. It's named after a victim at Columbine. Her family started this organization after that tragedy. He actually came to Catawba County when we kicked off and spoke at many of our schools. Rachel Scott, and because I think of their ties to that just horrible tragedy, they have a lot of support, and they're able to offer grants. And I believe they are pretty much a nonprofit now. These other organizations you see are all for profit. So I think that's why you see more grant opportunities with Rachel Challenge than with the other ones.
Personally, I think I'd like to see a breakdown of Second Step, Character Strong, and Rachel's Challenge. Kind of see what our best option would be.
I'd like to add one more thing. That we can, whenever I've looked and researched, offer like demos to get a deeper dive into some of these, because they can actually give you more than just like a regular, like a demo.
Yeah.
So that you can get a better understanding what's in the curriculum.
And I can certainly ask. I know when I asked that back in the fall, when we were looking at, they're reluctant to share their entire program because people take it, copy it, and then use it, and they don't make any money. I didn't feel like they were trying to hide anything. They were just trying to protect their product from people using it without paying.
And I understand that, but sometimes, or whenever looking at some of the different ones, my concern is that we are not going to know. My concern is that we will not know exactly what's in the curriculum until we get it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes they do have things underlined in some of these curriculums that that we might not want to teach because they're not satisfactory.
And we have the option now, board members, of course, to look at every component of Second Step. And we have that, we purchased that, so it's available to look at any time. I know Ms. Ballard has went through every piece of Second Step. They have made some changes.
And that was a perfect example, just to let you know, or whenever we talked about that before, because there was like something with the bullying program that was not, that didn't suffice. I think that it was with the 8th grade, I believe, module. That was something in the 8th grade module, if I'm mistaken. So I'm just concerned. I just want to make sure that we're not going to end up with something or pay for something that we're not going to end up using because of the reason of some of the things that are in the curriculum that's not satisfactory or that shouldn't be taught.
And anytime you want to look at that, reach out to me or Ms. Ballard, and we'll be glad to set that up.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Any further questions or comments on that for Mr. Miller? All right, if not, we'll move on to approval for the quote from Scholastic Education Solutions. Reading packs, again presented by Mr. Miller.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We'd like to request board approval to purchase reading packs for pre-K through our current third grade students. And these reading packs would go home with students for the summer, and they would be theirs. They come with a family guide and also a custom letter for families, the importance of continuing to read throughout the summer. This will be through Scholastic. There are 4 books to a pack, and the funds for this would come from PRC 085, which is a state early literacy fund, which we have used, and we have about $150,000 left. We would like to hold on to about $50,000 of that for summer reading camp, for any overage that we may have for summer reading camp, and then spend $103,038.43 for the summer reading packs. What money we do not spend in PRC 085 would revert back to the state July 1. So just seeking.
Yeah, to add to that real quick, one of our strategic plans, you guys know, is to increase our literacy rate for all our students. And, through school hours, we're doing a lot. And last summer, we tried to do a few things to get kids excited. Not only, if the board approved this, would we be doing the summer reading packs, but we also have a vision for what our media centers look like in the summer, to be able to open up for families and make them in a spot where people want to be. And so just, again, trying to get our students engaged in summer reading, get them excited. We would welcome any support financially we could to get this off the ground.
Anybody have any further questions for Mr. Miller on this? Hearing none, I seek approval of the quote from Scholastic Education Solutions for the summer reading packs for a grand total of $38.43.
I make a motion that we approve this.
Hearing a motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise a hand. That is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Next on the agenda is approval of the use of agreement between Catawba County Board of Education and the Town of Maiden Parks and Recreation Department. Be presented by Dr. Matt Stover.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Settlemeyer. This is a donation to the Board of Education for $100,000 to be spent at Maiden High School for a new scoreboard, and that would be approximately 2/3 of the cost. The other third of the remaining cost will come from the Sportsman's Club of Maiden to finish that purchase. A generous donation. I've never cut a check for $100,000, so we're specifically excited about that. And what you all asked is to ensure that we have a memorandum of understanding to show that in good faith we'll allow them to use our facilities as we already do, and then up that every 10 years to meet the legal requirements as Mr. Sink has pointed out. So big thank you to the town of Maiden, Maiden High School for all their work they're putting in. Our Robert Hoyle's here tonight, and he's going to be helping to put this together. So Robert, you and your staff, thank you. Generous donation, and we're excited.
Yes, if the Town of Maiden is listening, thank you very much for this opportunity. Saying that we already let them use these sport fields. Sounds like a great opportunity. It's a good-looking scoreboard. If you scroll down to it, Marty, do you have it on there? Very bottom, so. Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's what it would look like. You have video to go with this?
There is been in Lincoln County before. It's very similar to their video scoreboards. I'm not sure if you've seen them, but it will have a lot of different functionality, including playback video.
Is there any further discussion? Then I seek a motion to approve the agreement between Catawba County Board of Education and the Town of Maiden Parks and Recreation Department.
Make a motion.
Hearing a motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise their hand. That is unanimous. Thank you. Next up is approval for architectural design firm negotiation with LS3P Architects for middle school additions and renovation projects. Presented by Mr. Dan Moore.
Thank you, Chairman Settlemeyer, members of the board. A month ago, I stood before you seeking approval of SFLA as our architectural design firm for the middle school additions and renovations. Unfortunately, those contract negotiations have not been successful. We're at an impasse, and it would be my recommendation to the board that we terminate those negotiations with SFLA and go to our second firm, which is LS3P, to begin contract negotiations due to the timeliness of this project. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Is there any costs that we have incurred in the first negotiations?
No, sir. They are Charlotte, yes.
I thank Mr. Moore and our staff, and just to legally paint this picture, this is going to be possible cost savings of several $1 million if this next firm willing to accept our offer. And all that does is allow us to build better facilities for our children. So I thank Mr. Moore and Mr. Hoyle work on this, not settling for anything less. So I appreciate y'all.
There are no further questions for Mr. Moore. Motion for approval of architectural design firm. List 3 P Architects for middle school.
I make that motion.
Bring a motion. Is there any further discussion? Favor shall raise a hand. That is unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is approval of allowance authorization number 01 for roof replacement project at Maiden High School.
Typically, we call these, thank you, Chairman Solomar, members of the board, typically we call these change directives. REI Engineers refers to these as allowance authorizations. We have an allowance for this roofing project. What we're talking about is the addition of some extensions located at the gutter and the downspouts. There were 58 of them that had to be created to fit with the gutter for this particular roof at the price of $8,400. And I would seek your approval and be happy to answer any questions you may have about this expenditure at this time.
I guess I just wanted to say so far down at Maiden, they're happy with the roofing project part of it.
It's coming along. We've had a few bumps in the road. We've had some of our sheathing that's underneath the metal roofing. We've had some integrity issues there, a couple of holes, created some leaks. We had some temporary ridge caps that got blown off the last storm, so we had some leaks, but they are progressing. It's unfortunate we've had some wet winter weather, and so the grounds have been disturbed, but we're making progress, and we're about 60% of the way through with this installation. So hopefully we'll see real progress real soon.
So since they started, we had the ice storm and the snowstorm and
We've had a lot.
all kind of storms on
Yeah.
top of that. So
We've
it's
had a lot.
it's good to see them getting progress made, getting it fixed right where it hopefully doesn't leak for the rest of our lifetimes anyway. If there's no further questions for Mr. Moore, I seek approval of allowance authorization number 01 for roof replacement project at high school.
Make a motion that we approve this allowance.
Make a motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise a hand. That is unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, again, is Mr. Moore with approval of construction management at risk, or CMAR firm, for middle school additions and renovation projects.
Thank you, Chairman Settlemeyer, members of the board. As you can see, we are progressing rapidly through this timeline that we established beginning in January with regard to this project. And of course, we have to have this project completed by the fall of 2028 when our sixth graders arrive on campus. We had opportunity to interview multiple firms for construction management at risk for Catawba County Schools. We were fortunate to have firms both local, regional, and national, and have opportunity to speak with them about this project. We had a robust process in which we had questions created, tailored to our specific needs. We were able to have opportunity to hear each firm present for 20 minutes and follow up with 20 minutes of questions. We were able to deliberate after every firm after they presented. After much thought and deliberation by the committee, it would be my recommendation to the board that we approve Hickory Construction Company for the construction management at risk firm for the middle school additions and renovations. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Moore?
Just a comment. I was honored to be a part of this selection. I appreciate Mr. Moore's leadership on this and giving everyone, it was nothing railroad, nothing, everyone there had an opportunity to voice their opinion. Great to be a part of that, and I'm glad we came to this decision. Thanks for your leadership, sir.
Thank you.
And I like the fact that it sounds like we're going for a local firm here in Hickory.
Yes, sir.
It's had a long business relationship throughout the county, and I've heard they've done good work.
They have. We look forward to the continued partnership.
Fantastic. If nobody else has any more comments or questions, I seek a motion for approval of Construction Management at Risk, or CMAR firm, Hickory Construction Company, for middle school additions and renovations project.
Mr. Chairman, I make that motion.
Hearing a motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise a hand. That is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Next up is discussion of next steps in disposal of real property declared surplus. Adoption of resolution of the Catawba County Board of Education initiating the upset bid sale process to dispose of surplus real property along Little Mountain Road. And that'll be presented by Jonathan Slink.
That's right, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Last month at our February meeting, the board duly passed a resolution declaring that tiny sliver of property along Little Mountain Road right across from Balls Creek Elementary as surplus. We always like for those resolutions to be clean and separate and apart from the step 2, which is before the board for consideration tonight for prospective adoption, which is, okay, let's trigger the actual sale. There are multiple ways to do a sale of real property that's already been declared surplus. By far and away in these situations, what is used is the upset bid sale process. In your packet is a simple one-pager that says exactly what the board would be doing if this resolution is adopted, and that's one you're naming that you would be selecting the upset bid sale as the price you're going to use to actually dispose of that little sliver, which, in the words of Dan K. Moore, are smaller than a baseball infield, and he's exactly right. And then number 2, that district staff led by Dr. Stover is to work with me and contiguous property owners who have already shown interest in the property, not at some high monetary value. Again, this is a tiny sliver of land, which even real estate professionals say is not worth very much, but to enter into that initial contract, that contract would be publicly noticed. There would be a 10-day upset period, and then after there were no upset bids, that sale would be finalized and disposed of. Since there is no further use for that being, y'all have already declared that as surplus property. So that's the resolution before the board for consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Sink. Is there any further discussion or any comments or questions for Mr. Sink? Hearing none, I seek a motion for adoption of a resolution of the Catawba County Board of Education initiating the upset bid sale process to dispose of surplus real property along Little Mountain Road. Hearing a motion, is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise your hand. That is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Sink. Next up is nomination of one Catawba County Board of Education member to serve as a at-large member of the North Carolina School Boards Association Legislative Committee. One board member came forward, my colleague, Ms. Teague, asked if she could fill that role or apply to fill that role, however the process works there. I have no issues with that. If anybody, we could go ahead, and if there's no other comments or nominees, I suggest that we make a motion to nominate Ms. Teague for the Catawba County Board of Education to serve as an at-large member of the North Carolina School Boards Association Legislative Committee. Hearing a motion, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise their hand. That is unanimous. Thank you all. Next is closed session in accordance with General Statutes 143-318.11 alpha. Purposes to protect confidential or privileged information, to consult with an attorney to protect current client of privilege, and personnel matters. So at this time, I seek a motion for closed session.
So move.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor shall raise their hand. After a 10-minute recess, we will enter into closed session at 7:40.